Hey guys, it's Furious Black. I haven't made a video in a while, but I wanted to talk about a couple of things like the simplicity of people, man. You know, it's like you make a car and you get rules and types of things that you have to do for the car. You get a TV, you get things you shouldn't and things you can and cannot do with your TV. And that comes with any product that you get in the world, right? And it's very common. Like, you wouldn't take a TV and put it in a pool and expect it to still work. You know, you wouldn't take your brand new shoes and throw them in a wood chipper and expect it to be wearable. You know, it's just the fact that we are so gun-ho to expect God, which created a magnificent person, and you can be perfect just like him, right? But he also made pitfalls for humans as far as what you can and can't put in your body, what you can and can't do on your flesh, you know, what you can and cannot do for a lot of different things for the mind and the mental state, right? But we think that God is so out of the realm of putting disciplines and punishments on people for not behaving in the right manner. You would do the same thing to your child if it wasn't doing the right things, right? You would punish them. But we have this notion that God doesn't do that he doesn't punish people, or he doesn't want you to act in a particular way, and it's just okay to do whatever you want whenever you feel. You know, I was thinking about that last night. You know, we have so many rules for everything, for driving on the street, to going into a grocery store, to sitting in a movie theater. You know, you can't bring in your own food into a movie theater. You have to buy food. I mean, people do it anyway, bring their own food. You know, there's so many rules for everything. You wouldn't put water where you're supposed to put oil in your car, right? You wouldn't put acid where you're supposed to put your gasoline. But we feel that we could put anything and everything within our body. You know, didn't you think that when God was creating your body, he thought of the stuff that would make your body run at optimal, like running just at his best? You don't think that he thought of that, being a creator of something? You don't think that? It's just amazing that we sit back and expect that our thoughts should be law over what God's laws are. What I mean by that, you go to somebody and you ask them, have you read the Bible? They say, nah, but my pastor, he teaches me the Bible. And you say, you know, in the Bible it says you shouldn't eat pork. Oh, well, that was in the Old Testament. Oh, well, but in the New Testament it says God is the same, yesterday, today, the time you live in, and forever. That means he'll never change. So what makes you think that because he gave the Hebrews this law, that it changed? They'll love to go to that scripture where Peter was told to eat what was unclean. But they never finished that chapter where Peter tells you what that dream meant. It's sad, man, that we live in a day where we actually think this is the law. This is not the law, but this is simplicity in your mind of not being able to deduce or having a reasonable thought in your head that God thought of the things that you thought of already. You know, like he put certain things in certain places to keep this place clean for you, but you feel that because you haven't seen him in a while that you could do whatever you want. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that like the most simple things? Like, just don't do this, don't do that, and you'll have a great life. You have a blessed life. That's what people like to say now, blessed. But they don't get it. And then they blame the devil for everything that they do. Yeah, he has a lot to blame for a lot of things, but not for your actions. That's all on you, right? Why? Because you have a book that's telling you how your father wants you to act. And you take it upon yourself to say, I don't need that book. You take it upon yourself to say, hey, I don't need anybody to tell me what to do. I don't need authority over my life. So then you go do what is contrary to what he wants you to do. And then when something happens to you, a punishment, you say, how could God do this to me? Wasn't I a good Christian? Wasn't I doing everything he wanted? Was I not going to church on Sundays? And all he says is, did you read my book? And you say, but my pastor told me. But my pastor told me. People have a misconception that the prophets were loved. But when you read the scriptures, they were hated because they was bringing truth to a lawless place. Like, how do you feel if I came to you and you eating shrimp and I said, don't eat it? You get upset, right? You'd be like, oh, don't tell me what to do. I can do whatever I want. That's the same way the others was doing when the prophets came. So what makes you think that today is different when you're the children of those people? It's mind-boggling, ain't it? That people just don't get it or care. Then they teach their kids the same exact stuff. What do you do, man? What do you do watching people do these things? You try to live your life the best that you can and try to bring as many people to your side that is willing. You don't try to force people. If I'm in a conversation where people seem to misconstrue the conversation, is that they think I'm trying to convince them to do something that they don't want to do. No, the conversation is between me and you is, this is how I live because if this is what I see. You live how you live because that's how you want to live. So when I show you that the way you're living is wrong and the way that you thought things were or supposed to be isn't in the book that you hold dear to your heart or that your mother or your grandmother held dear to their heart because they didn't read it. And then the men, this is what it is, right? Mothers are like nurturers, so they're going to always push what the family's values are on the children. The father is the protector, so he's always going to show the kids how to protect the family, men mainly, how to protect the family, while the women nurture the children up to a point where their father can show how to protect a family. Then women nurture the females how to nurture the kids when time comes on and show them how to teach their kids when they get to that particular point. That's how society should be ran, but it's not. It's not. See, men now take a back seat to everything. Everything. Then when you see a strong black man that's telling you stuff and showing you what you're doing is wrong, you say, oh, he's thirsty, or he doesn't know what he's talking about, he's crazy. And it's sad because if another nation of people was to come and tell you this stuff, you would take it and believe it. It's crazy, man. Like, what type of world we live in? And nobody cares, man. Nobody cares. And then we sit back and we fight each other over the doctrines that we are receiving. Like, what? Like, what? We've been fighting to get this knowledge. We getting this knowledge, and then we are tearing each other down because we feel he has wrong knowledge. No. We all have specific parts of the knowledge, and we are supposed to bring that to a collective and then build from that. But we don't. It's all it's simple. It's so simple. Like, it's so simple that I see it like plain as day. And there's people fighting for their doctrine to be the only doctrine on the top. But this is so multi-layered that your doctrine can't be on the top. Regardless of how you feel. I don't care what church you go to. Your doctrine cannot be on top. And I'm only talking about Hebrews and stuff like that. I'm not talking about, Baptists and Lutherans and Mormons and stuff like that. I'm talking about people that are really studying the Aztecs, the Hebrews, the Mesopotamia, Syria, that's looking up land masses where we used to be, looking up where the Ivory Coast, where we had cities, over 30 cities that were destroyed by the white man. I'm talking about those people that is actually at home studying and doing what they need to do, are actually going out fighting each other. Man, I'm gonna tell you right now, man, I went to Zion Lex and I told him, a lot of us have an ego and we put our ego over truth. And our ego is what we consider to be truth within ourselves. That's what the ego is. It's a nug that's in your body, mind, that you hold on dearly to, and you will argue anyone down until they submit, or if you decide they are crazy. That's what your ego does. So what you need to do, which I was telling him, not what he needs to do, but what we need to do, is realize our ego is fighting to hold on to something that we was taught by people that were still learning when they taught us. And he deleted me off Facebook. So was I right or wrong? Right? Was I right or wrong about the ego? Because he wouldn't have deleted me if his ego didn't say, this guy's crazy. Or his ego wouldn't have deleted me if his ego didn't say, this is outside of the norm and this is out of the spectrum of what I've learned. So I'm deleting him because I don't want nobody to see what he's saying to me. That's your ego. I mean, it's simple. These are simple things. Simple things, man. Men and women roles. Doesn't make you higher or lower than anybody else. Doesn't make a man higher than a woman because he has a different role than her. That's the misconception that the outside world portrays the Bible to have. I told my cousin, man, what does the army do? Protect. What do the people do? Cultivate and build an economy. It's the same thing as a man and a woman. Same thing. But simple minds can't see the simple things because they hold on to their ego and they like what they was told and expect that to be the reality of things. But the reality of things is not what this is. It's not what this is. I've been thinking about this for a couple days, man, and I just, before I made the video, I had to get every thought to the forefront of my mind and examine every part of it to make sure that I could speak on it from a pure place. It's all simple, man. We need to go back to the basics. The basics. Every man loves Ariyah. But we know the Comforter is destroying them. But nobody wants to go tell them. We rather argue with each other. What next? I'm furious black, man. Let's work together, man. Work together to get out of this kingdom. Or work together to separate ourselves from a kingdom that is destroying us, our people. With that, man, I'm furious black, man. And let's work together, yo.